Alright guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 24th of February 2020. I'm going to be doing a public video with some of the trade studies that we've been doing over at Patreon. These trade studies were open today and the video is available over at Patreon if anybody's interested in joining our trading community. I'll just mention now as well, for those who haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel because it makes a massive difference. It really helps, which a lot of people say it, so I'm not going to go on about it. But just as a little reminder, if you're interested in the content that I share, and the time that I spend, putting this content out, for the benefit of traders, then please support the channel by giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Yeah. So with all of that said, we opened 3 trades today. We had, our what did we do today? We did New Zealand JPY, which is still open. We did the Pound New Zealand, and we did Euro New Zealand. Okay, and the 3 trades were different. If we just go over to the history here, and I'll just do a quick refresh, as always, so people can see, and just a quick refresher regarding this account. This account is a study account that I use for Patreon. I add money to it from time to time just to increase the balance. I take trades with larger amounts and I distinguish those trades from the study trades to make sure that it's very clear. So I'm not one of these traders who just picks trades and says, yeah, look at this, I'm making results. You'll never see any of that shit with me. What I do is when I'm opening trades, I make it very clear. Look, for example, this was a swing trade that we had open, okay, and it didn't pan out on this one or this one, so we went flat for the week, and we're going to be reassessing some things next week, and then we're going to be going into the remainder of next week with some fresh ideas for our swing trades, but they're studies. I made it clear from the beginning, this is a swing trading study that we're going to be incorporating into the Patreon membership, for the purposes of understanding price delivery and understanding how the markets work, how the markets move, and how we as traders are responsible for everything that happens to us in our trading. When you see 500 units or 1,000 units, these are trades that I personally take myself. Yeah, the ones that I like, the ones I'm confident in, the ones that I sit, I watch, and I do not move from the screen until I've seen the trades that until I've seen the entire trade through from open to conclusion. Yeah, and I make a very clear distinction. So the study trades that I opened today, I went through those in a video. We did some analysis. I did a breakdown on the NJ, the GN and the EN. It sound like the army. New Zealand JPY, Pound New Zealand, and the Euro New Zealand. Those were the trade or the pairs that I wanted to focus on this week. And as you can see, this Euro New Zealand was the only one that we had open, or that I had open, with a hard stop in. Yeah, and that's deliberate because I'm going to be addressing that with the Patreon members. The other 2 were open stops. The Pound New Zealand was the only one where I had 3 pending positions. So I had a market order which I entered the market on Pound New Zealand. Then I had two more orders higher. Okay, one of those got triggered. The other one didn't. And then obviously, if we come back to the charts, or we go back to the charts, we can see that that's the wrong one completely. I'm so used to looking at Pound JPY New Zealand. This was the chart. So basically we got in around about here, somewhere around about here. Price came up, popped up a little bit, got the second sell limit, and then I had another one up here at the 205.50, which wasn't tagged obviously because it didn't go up there, and then it's just proceeded to fall out of bed and go straight for the liquidity that we expected. Yeah, so it was a beautiful trade, very easy to understand. The Euro New Zealand trade, the idea behind this trade, and I still like this trade idea, and it's probably something that I'm going to look to get back into. But there is liquidity above where I believe price is going to be going, up here. Okay, the 171.90 level to 172.10 level. This is where I believe the sweet spot is. We've got a very, very nice price structure here. Everything's looking good for this particular this particular trade idea. And we had a nice little run today, but it's not gone enough. Basically, you can see well, we had a nice run last week. We're sat right in the middle of an order flow shift, basically, and this is why price is struggling to get through this. But there is open liquidity above, and it makes perfect sense that this is where price is going to end up going to. So we opened a small little trade. It stopped me out. I had a very tight stop on this at 25 pips on this particular open study. The others we have open stops on, or we had open stops on, and the pound New Zealand was the only trade that I had multiple positions on, because this is the one that I believed in the most. I actually started this study at the beginning, looking at price and thinking, it looks like it wants to go higher. There's reasons why it wants to go higher, and so on and so on and so on. I made a reference to this area here and what that means, based on the overall price structure, and then you get this really nice pop up here, and I was expecting a little bit more continuation. But then as I was dropping down through the time frames and I was looking at the daily, I'm thinking, yep, I still like it. We ended up going down to the 4 hour. I'm looking at the 4 hour. I'm thinking, do you know what? Remember, this hadn't happened at the time. Price was kind of around about here, and I was looking at it. I was thinking, do you know what? There's open liquidity below. It makes perfect sense. Price is going to want to go down there to rebalance. So maybe there's something there. We dropped down to the hourly. I made a note of this level. I'm going through the price structure. There's an order flow shift here, amongst other things. And then we drop down to the 15-minute chart, which is what did it for me, basically, because when I drop down, past the 4 hour time frame, I'm looking for confirmation of my high time frame idea, and it wasn't there. What I was looking for simply wasn't there. I'm looking at the lower time frames to give me confirmation, right, that prices should be going higher, and it's just not there because the flow of price, the flow of orders is going in the opposite direction. So as I'm looking at it, or as I was looking at it, when I was doing the original trade studies video, it just made absolutely perfect sense that it was going to go down here. Based on everything that we'd done from start to finish, this is what it did, and this is why I opened, multiple positions on this particular trade, whereas the others I just left as normal. And you'll notice as well that the New Zealand JPY, it ran down there. You can see it's an open trade, guys. You can see what's going on. It went all the way down there, almost tagged. The take profit, didn't quite get there. Obviously, I'm going to leave this open because I still like the daily. In fact, I love the daily on this. I think it's great. I like the way it's setting up. It makes perfect sense. So I've got no issues with this. I still think it's going to go down there. There is no cutoff for this, guys, because it's a study trade. It's a study trade, and we do a lot of these. I do a lot of these study trades, all with the idea of education in mind, all with the idea of pushing price delivery ideas to people. This isn't a plug what I'm about to say now, but I've recently been, I recently started coaching one of the guys, a person, because I've got a few people that I'm coaching at the minute. But one of the people that I'm coaching, we were going through some advanced concepts. Now I'm going to be very careful how I say this, because I said this to him. They're not advanced concepts in the respect of, it's level 1 and now it's level 2 and then we're going to go to level 3. We're not talking about advanced concepts in that way. They're advanced understanding of a concept. And an advanced understanding of a concept, leads you to a deeper understanding of price delivery. And this is what's so interesting and so fascinating about the markets, because you're always deepening that understanding, and that's what's important. And that's what these trade studies are really all about. There was a time when I used to do these trade studies, open in an open forum, in a trade room that I used to have with hundreds of people in there, and the results were no different, in terms of learning and understanding and education as they are now. The only difference was back then I was trading stocks, and now I'm trading forex predominantly, with a few commodities here and there, mainly gold when I see it's doing something really, really nice. And I know I've posted many times regarding gold, so I'm just going to make a reference to this right now. For those of you that were keeping up with this over the last couple of years, and it's really bizarre what I'm going to say. I was going to say ask anybody over at Patreon, but you can't. But if you were able to ask people on Patreon, or if you go over to Patreon and you go through all of the videos that regarding gold, I've been banging on about this for over half a year. And then prior to this, I was talking about this for at least 2 years, and it's literally gone straight there. This wick was never an issue. We've actually coined all wicks that we believe with a high degree of confidence that are going to be negated as gold wicks or GWs now. It's just something that we came up with, which I thought was quite funny. The guy knows what I'm talking about. I know he's going to be watching this. But, this wick was never going to be an issue. It was never going to be a problem. And this is, again, it's an advanced understanding and a deeper understanding, of the concepts that are delivered, not just by me, but you know, by a hybrid of everybody that I've, so basically all the people that I've learned from over the years, I've kind of fused all that together into a hybrid system, and my own personal experiences as well, and some of the things that I've done. Stas was the guy that basically started all of this for me in terms of price delivery and price understanding. The guy's a genius, and there's anyway, I digress. I'm really sorry, guys, I digress. But the point is, with all of this said, this right here, and they will, again, if you could speak to them or if you watch the videos, you'll know I was referencing this over and over and over and over and over and over again. The deeper you understand something, the easier it is to have more confidence in your ability to be able to do something. I also said 1680, keep an eye on the 1680 level. I can't go back and change these ideas, guys, and you can see price came up initially to the 1680 level, and I'm going to zoom right in just to show you this. Initially to the 1680 level, and look at the response at that level. Yeah, 1680 to the pip. I mean, you know, gold is insane in terms of spot gold or in terms of the futures. But I mean, gold moves like it really moves. If you're trading the futures on gold, it's very, very, very volatile. Yeah, and that's to the pip, 1680.001, and look at the reaction away from that. Yeah, it comes all the way back down to 1675.30. That's a pretty decent move. Yeah. In the overall scheme of things, it's nothing, but it's a pretty decent move. You know, the point is the reaction. Why do I reference these points? You know, why do I say these things over and over again? Why do I make such an emphasis on certain things and say, look, keep an eye on this level, and the ones that pay attention are like, shit, you know what? That's actually quite interesting. Well, yeah. And they go deeper into it. They send me questions. I do private videos, and I send, you know, private videos back to people. You know, and we break things down and everything else. There's so much into this. There's so much going on in the marketplace, and this is just a naked chart. We're not looking at anything else because it's understanding the language of price. So I wanted to throw this in there because I know there's a lot of people that watch my videos, and there's plenty of people on Twitter that have gone through some of the older videos and some of the things that I used to post on Twitter about gold. You know, and there you go. You know, again, straight up there. So going back to. And I am mindful, guys, as well. Sorry that I might come across as sounding a little bit, arrogant. It's not my intention. You know, those of you who know me know I'm not like that. You know, so I don't ever want to come across as like that. You know, sorry, I don't ever want to come across, you know, that I'm like that. I'm really not. I just get so passionate about this stuff. You know, and talking about trading and going through these concepts and going through these ideas, and you know, the more I talk about it, believe it or not, the better trader, you know, the better trader I am, and the better trader I become, because you're constantly, again, evolving as a trader, constantly evolving your price study. So again, just going back to New Zealand JPY, you can see it went down there. If I was sitting here and I was watching this trade, you know, that would have been another profitable trade. You know, it's not a huge trade. It's a very quick scalp. You know, in terms of, got the wrong one. It's a very quick scalp. You know, in terms of the actual trade itself, talking about 17 pips or so plus sweep, maybe 20 pips in there. You know, but a very easy trade to be in. A very, very easy trade to be in. Very easy trade to understand. Yeah. So. With all of that said, guys, I just wanted to kind of put this out there in terms of some of the study trades that we do, the reasons why I do these study trades, you know, and that's it. That's it. So I hope everyone's having an awesome week. I am looking to do another update on the Euro New Zealand soon, so that will be forthcoming. And in the meantime, again, hope everyone's having a great week. Hope everybody had an awesome weekend, and I will speak to you guys in the next update. Take care.